The ego trap. Stop comparison. End FOMO. And find your true worth. Stop scrolling. Comparison is the ego trap that kills your joy and fuels FOMO. Learn the Zen secret to unconditional self-worth. Watch now to find your peace. Welcome to Echoes of Life. Take a moment and recall the last time you opened social media with genuine excitement. Now, recall the moment that excitement faded, replaced by a hollow ache, the subtle, insidious feeling that you are not enough. We live in the age of the comparison camera. We are constantly scrolling through a curated, perfectly lit highlight reel of someone else's life, the flawless vacation, the promotion, the perfect relationship, and in that curated world, you are always, inevitably, the person falling behind. This is the central crisis of modern contentment. Comparison kills joy. We spend our energy measuring our imperfect reality against someone else's polished fiction. This constant measurement is not just a bad habit, it is a meticulously constructed psychological cage, the ego trap. Your ego needs this comparison because it refuses to accept your worth as unconditional. It demands external metrics, the achievements of others, to gauge your internal value. When you compare, your ego says, if they have more, I am less, therefore, I must achieve more to finally be enough. But that goalpost is always moving. The moment you achieve the thing you were chasing, your ego finds someone else to compare you to, and the loop of self-doubt and striving begins again. This is a game you cannot win. The only path to freedom is to understand the nature of the ego trap and the radical, liberating secret that breaks its power, the Zen principle of anatta, or not self. Today, we will dive deep into this trap. We will expose the logic of the comparing mind, arm you with the Muditā pivot to turn jealousy into genuine happiness, and teach you the ancient secret to finding a true worth that is completely independent of external achievement. It's time to step out of the shadow of comparison and reclaim the quiet, unassailable confidence that already resides within you. Part 2: The logic of the ego trap, the comparing self. To dismantle the ego trap, we must first understand its flawed, yet powerful, logic. Your ego, that voice which clings to the concepts of me, mine, and I, is desperate for stability. It attempts to build a fixed identity, but it can only do so using external references. This is the core of the comparison problem. The ego's equation for self-worth is simple. My worth equals my achievements relative to their achievements. This forces you into a zero-sum game. If you see someone succeed, your ego registers it not as inspiration, but as a threat to your own relative standing. If you perceive them as winning, you must, by the ego's definition, be losing. This loop is fueled by 3 psychological mechanisms. 1. The fixation on outcome. The ego ignores the hours of invisible struggle, failure, and luck that preceded someone's success. It only sees the final, perfect outcome and judges your messy, ongoing process against it. 2. The thirst for external validation. The ego believes that if enough people validate its narrative through likes, praise, or professional titles, it will finally become real and permanent. Comparison is the constant, desperate check for this validation. 3. The false sense of separation. The ego needs to define itself by what it is not. It needs a clear boundary between me and the other to feel distinct. This artificial separation is what makes jealousy, envy, and the pain of comparison possible. The core challenge is this: you cannot win a game designed for you to constantly feel insufficient. Your life is not a race against the highlight reel. The good news is that this entire mechanism, the voice of comparison, the feelings of lack, is merely a construct. You are not your ego. And the key to breaking this perpetual cycle of inadequacy lies in recognizing this fundamental truth. Part 3 Zen Secret 1. The Illusion of the Other. The first Zen secret to dismantling the ego trap is to attack the very boundary that allows comparison to exist, the illusion of the other. This is the psychological application of anatta, vo na. Zen teaches that the boundary between you and the rest of the world is not fixed, it is porous, fluid, and ultimately, an illusion created by your ego. We are all interdependent, a vast, intricate network of consciousness and matter. Your joy is not separate from their joy. Your struggle is not separate from theirs. The application of not-self to comparison. 1. The shared struggle. Recognize that the person on the highlight reel, the one with the perfect body, perfect life, or perfect title, is also a person struggling against their own inner critic and their own pursuit of perfection. Their life is also an unedited, messy process. Their success does not negate your worth. It merely confirms that success is possible within the shared human experience. 2. Unmasking the highlight reel. When you view a curated image, actively remind yourself that you are looking at a 0.1% snapshot of a complex, three-dimensional life. This cognitive break prevents the ego from accepting the image as a complete truth. 3. Dissolving the boundary. Use a simple mental exercise. When you feel the sting of comparison, shift your focus from judgment to connection. Realize that the ability to achieve that success, to feel that joy, exists within the universal potential of human consciousness, a consciousness of which you are a part. When you remove the ego's need to define itself by separation, the need to compare dissolves with it. You realize their success is merely a reflection of our collective potential. The moment you recognize that the individual boundary is an illusion, the pressure to maintain a superior individual identity collapses. The greatest relief comes when you realize the person you are comparing yourself to is also just another human being seeking freedom from their own inner traps. Part 4 Zen Secret 2. The Muditā Pivot, Unconditional Joy. The second, most active secret in the Zen tradition for overcoming comparison is mudita, sympathetic joy, the ability to feel genuine, unadulterated happiness for the success and joy of others. Mudita is the direct, most powerful antidote to jealousy and envy. Jealousy is a destructive emotion because it requires you to suffer when someone else is succeeding. Mudita teaches you to thrive when someone else is succeeding. This is not just moral goodness, it is psychological mastery. The blessing practice, the Muditā pivot. 1. Acknowledge the sting. When you see a post or hear news that triggers the familiar sting of envy, do not suppress the feeling. Acknowledge it. There is the sting of the ego trap. 2. Conscious choice. Immediately interrupt the thought pattern and make a conscious choice to send metta, loving kindness. 3. The 3 blessings. Silently repeat simple phrases directed at the person you envy. May you continue to be happy. May your joy be complete. May your success bring light to others. Why does this work? You are training your brain to decouple the signal, their success, from the default response, your pain. You force your internal system to link their success to a positive, expansive emotional state in yourself. You shift from a competitive mindset to a collaborative one. Furthermore, mudita is based on the radical truth that happiness is a boundless resource. Their success does not deplete your potential, it serves as proof of concept for your own. By wholeheartedly celebrating their victory, you are, in effect, blessing the existence of that potential in the universe, a universe of which you are inextricably a part. Part 5: The Golden Rule. Compare to your past self. If comparison is a neurological habit, how do we redirect that energy? The only comparison that is ever valid, useful, and supportive of growth is the golden rule of comparison. Compare only to your past self. Your life is not a vertical race against an external rival, it is a profound, lifelong, horizontal journey against your own resistance and inertia. Your only worthy opponent is the version of you that existed yesterday. The 1% rule of progress. 1. Focus on the process, not the outcome. Stop measuring your worth by the final result, which is often dependent on external factors like luck or timing. Start measuring your worth by small, consistent progress. Did you show up today? Did you write the one sentence? Did you walk for 10 minutes? These are the victories that matter. 2. Find gratitude in the effort. Actively seek out and acknowledge the hard work, the effort, and the discipline you exhibited. When you complete a difficult task, pause and feel the pride not in the result, but in the integrity of the attempt. This builds quiet confidence, a self-worth based on your own internal commitment, not external praise. 3. The past self reminder. Keep a small journal or a mental note of where you were 6 months ago. When the inner critic starts the comparison game, pull out that internal record. Acknowledge how far you have traveled. You are winning your own race every day you choose to move forward. Even just 1%. By shifting your measurement from the external, public result to the internal, private process, you effectively move the control panel of your self-worth back inside your own mind, away from the capricious judgment of the crowd. Part 6: The Cure for FOMO, Fear of Missing Out. The relentless fear of comparison fuels its anxious cousin, FOMO, fear of missing out. FOMO is the constant internal siren screaming that the true experience, the perfect joy, the essential connection is happening somewhere else, without you. FOMO is not a modern phenomenon. It is ancient Buddhist craving, dressed up in digital clothes. It is the insatiable thirst for an experience you do not currently possess. The JOMO pivot, joy of missing out. 1. Acknowledge the craving. When you feel the pull of FOMO, use your pause button and acknowledge it as craving. Label it. There is the feeling of thirst. 2. Pivot to presence. Immediately shift your attention to the richness of your current reality. What are you experiencing right now? The taste of your tea, the quietness of the room, the texture of the fabric against your skin. This is your life. This moment is the only moment that exists. By immersing yourself in the present, you realize that the most profound experience is always happening where you are. 3. Recognize the lie. Actively remind yourself that what you are truly missing out on is not the perfect party, but the opportunity to be present and the opportunity to be still. You are missing out on an opportunity for distraction and an opportunity for comparison, neither of which bring lasting happiness. The JOMO pivot transforms your anxiety into appreciation. You realize you are not missing out on life. You are opting into the quality of your own life. The greatest experience is not the one you pursue externally, it is the one you cultivate internally through intentional presence. Part 7: The True Worth, found in the stillness. We have navigated the traps of comparison and craving. Now, we arrive at the destination, the true worth. Your inherent value, your fundamental worth as a sentient being, does not reside in your ego, your accomplishments, your bank account, or your past failures. It resides in your true self, the unconditioned, observing awareness that is always present, always whole, and completely untouched by the turbulence of the external world. The stillness test. 1. The experiment. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. During this time, actively try to eliminate every external measure of your worth. Let go of your job title, your relationship status, your hopes, your fears, and your opinions about yourself. 2. The discovery. What remains when all those labels and thoughts dissolve? A simple, silent, persistent awareness. That awareness, that pure, unconditioned capacity to observe, is your true worth. It cannot be earned, and it cannot be lost. 3. The quiet confidence. This discovery leads to quiet confidence, a self-worth that is non-negotiable. You no longer need external applause to feel validated because you know your core is whole. You can step into the world with boldness, not because you expect to succeed, but because you know failure cannot diminish your inherent value. This true worth is the ultimate escape from the ego trap. The moment you realize your value is not a variable, dependent on comparison, but a constant, found in your own stillness. The frantic, destructive energy of the comparison camera finally fades into silence. Part 8. Final Echoes. Choose your lens, conclusion and CTA. We have journeyed through the ego trap, exposing the lie that your worth is determined by someone else's highlight reel. You now have the Zen secrets to dismantle the constant comparison, the illusion of the other, the Muditā pivot, and the quiet confidence found in the stillness. Remember, you are the inner architect. You get to choose the lens through which you view your life. Will you choose the painful, divisive lens of the ego trap, or the expansive, compassionate lens of Muditā and presence? The greatest gift you can give yourself is the permission to be imperfectly, authentically, and unconditionally you. Embrace this final challenge, the very next time you feel the sharp sting of comparison. Do not retreat into shame. Instead, apply the Muditā pivot, acknowledge the feeling, pause, and silently offer the person you envy a sincere blessing for their continued happiness. By doing so, you are actively choosing joy over jealousy, and freedom over the trap. Thank you for beginning your journey with Echoes of Life. If the promise of freeing yourself from the ego trap resonated with your spirit, subscribe to our channel and join our community dedicated to applying ancient wisdom to master modern challenges like comparison and self-doubt. Like this video to help the algorithm share this essential secret for self-worth with others caught in the endless loop of validation. And finally, share this video with someone who needs to be reminded that their worth is non-negotiable. Until our next lesson on mastering your inner world, may your life be marked by effortless joy, and your spirit be utterly free from comparison.